good. You need to keep coming back then. We only got one more home game. I expect to see you. Hope you'll be back. Okay. That was a fun game for our guys. Justin's done a really good job with that football team. And our guys have played really well. I was really happy the way Steven played. That's the way I expect him to play all the time, and because he can do all those type of things. And the offensive line did a good job and helped him. Of course, Lindsey does what Lindsey does, which was pretty special always. So I'll take any questions at this time.
Just talking about Steven.
Yeah.
Last week, the whole quarterback, you opening up the competition and everything, he talked about it lit a fire in him. Is that your intent, was that he just needed to kind of be humbled a little bit and to refocus and realize that he needs to work harder?
I can say now, yeah, it worked exactly like I thought it would. But my whole thought process in the game last week, we weren't doing anything the first half. We needed to try to crank something up. And then I thought that also at the same time, we'd see how both of those guys are going to react. And what was great is, and this is what you want to see, and I was really pumped up Monday after practice when I went home. I was really excited because both of them were helping each other. Both of them were focused. Both of them were competing. Nobody was pouting or hanging their head. And so I knew they were going to get better. And so I think both of those guys got better. And that was good to see. And of course, the results came out. And I would have said that anyway if the results wouldn't have came out that way, because I felt like they both I think he would have made improvement. But he made a big jump today, which was great.
It's along the same lines. If a quarterback gets benched at halftime, it's not comfortable for him or the coach.
Right.
How certain are you at the time you bench a guy about how he will react?
I don't know. Because I'm almost 100% sure that's the first time Steven's ever been benched in his entire career, because he's always been the best athlete on the field. So how he handled that showed a lot of his character and his work ethic, and I think it also showed his trust in us, that he was trusting us to do the best thing for the team. And so I think that what that showed, he's a very confident young man, but to me that showed me he wasn't cocky. And there's a definite difference. And that shows that's where I think he reached down his soul and was able to push himself to get better.
Coach, he mentioned just now that he really came out with a chip on his shoulder because of the competition being opened back up, and maybe you don't want to think about this until tomorrow, but how do you ensure, or what do you have to say to him so that he keeps that edge?
I think that his work ethic and understanding that every position you got to play. Bill Belichick statement that he always makes is, do your job, but do your job well. I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, that goes for all of us in our jobs, right? Do your job well, you don't keep it long. And so I think that's what he needed to understand. He had to do. He wasn't just getting to play because he was starting quarterback. That's just like any position. If they're not doing well, we make changes. We give them chances, and all the guys go through that. Trey Udofia came back today in the last game and a half and played his heart out and has gotten better. And so it's exciting watching those young men fight through that. And that's what you want to see kids do as a coach. You really do. You don't want to see them tank it. You have to move on, but you don't want to see that, because that also might affect other things later in life. There's a lot of harder things they got to face in a football game in life, as we all know.
Coach, just in terms of conference games this year, I think this was one of the better, if not the best, games that Stevens had in terms of accuracy. I mean, 5 receivers he was able to find for completions of 20 yards or more.
Right.
Was this bound to happen, or do you think the events of last week kind of helped him to elevate his game?
No, I think the events of last week helped it. And then Brian asked me a question because I said we need to coach him a little better. I went back and looked at how we were practicing. And I was up all night, Sunday night, and I kind of looked at it and I said, so what I did in practice, and I definitely believe it helped, is I added more what's called pass skeleton without the defensive lineman and offensive lineman out there. We hadn't been doing as much of that because it wears the receiver's legs out. I said, forget it. Just rotate every receiver in. Just rotate them all in. Steven and Sam need to see that. So we did at least about 45 more minutes of pass scale this week than we did the week before. And you get worried about wearing your legs, your receivers out, but I just said throw all of them in there. So I just wanted to see the coverage. Throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it. And I really think that helped. Now you can't do that every week as the games go on if they're getting worn out, but we'll still do a lot of pass scale I still believe a quarterback learns the best 11 on 11, which we do a lot 11 on 11, but I think we needed the time in. I think he needed the more touch. I think he needed to get a really comfortable where he was not worried about the rush and he could just see the coverages. So we changed that this week, and we'll keep doing that. And I really believe they took to that because I explained to them why we were doing it, and I think they understood it.
Coach Shea was just talking about how this team now has a sense of urgency.
Uh-huh.
Was that the way you practiced part of maybe what instilled that in them? Was there something that changed, or did it just kind of take a few plays to really get going? No, I just tried to
change up the format a little bit more this week of that. But we were still the same intense coaches we all are. Neil can ask you. He's out at practice. We weren't any different than we have been. I think if you go over the top or pull back as a coach, they kind of go, what's going on? Just be the same guy every day. Just be the same guy every day. And then they start taking on that persona, and and what we also talked about is we have a lot of old guys, and we've had a lot of mixture of new guys, first year junior college guys, first year players that are playing a lot, and I just told them, this is the 9th game of the year. It's not about you just getting to play anymore. It's about you playing well and making sure we win. And I think those guys were even more focused, and that's gone now. And so I think I know those guys bought into that. The other thing I liked was, as a head coach, you kind of watched the sidelines a little bit. Everybody on our sidelines today was into it. Everybody. And you want to see that, especially after you come off a tough game where it didn't go that well, and everybody's saying you didn't have heart and all that, and everybody was into it at the whole time. And that's something you always want to see, because those guys got to go in there at certain. I mean, Bo went in there, sitting over and went in, made a couple really nice runs, came out, played good on special teams. You had all kind of things over there, all the different tight ends, all the different wide receivers, all the different secondary guys playing. We had to rotate. They were throwing it so much, and they were rotating linemen out, and they were doing a good job. So I thought that was all our special teams guys. What a job by James today, huh? Protection was good, snaps were good, holes were good by TJ, and JT snapping it. He's a pretty good kicker. I think everybody was wondering what we were going to do there for a while, but we got us a good one.
Coach, as much character as you have in that locker room,
yes.
How badly did you guys need a win like this one?
No, we needed to win bad. We needed to win bad, and especially at home. That was our first gold game, and now we got 3 more. We got to play a really good Arizona State team that's I think Todd Graham's a heck of a coach, and they found their way. And so that's the next one we got to go. And so we only had 2 more home games left, and you have a better chance. We want to win them all, and we're going to try to win them all. There's no doubt. But you have a better chance at home. That's just a fact. And so we need to take care of that, and we did today. So I think that's big for all those kids' confidence.
Coach, what's going through your mind when Nick Fisher picks the ball off 7 yards deep in the end zone and he starts running out?
I was like, Nick's going to take a knee, right? And then he took off running. And then I said, maybe he'll slide on about the 5. And then I realized, no, he's going to go in the end zone. So it was a great play, number 1. He caught the ball number 1 in the end zone, which was big. But I wish he would have taken a knee, maybe down the field a little bit. We could have just run the clock out. That gave them an opportunity to have a chance to beat us because they had no timeouts left. But that's something I've got to do a better job of coaching, and he's got to do a better job. We talked about it after the game. Great play. He's really made some big plays for us. I'm proud of him. We just got to know the situation better, and I've got to do a better job of explaining that to him. But he does go down the record book. So 20 years from now, he'll see me and say, I'm still in the record book, Coach. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, is it a little bit in that situation like maybe the basketball coach when somebody throws up the long 3-pointer? And
it is and it isn't, because we literally could have run the clock out. So now there's no chance. Now, they weren't probably going to win either way, but they could have got an onside, thrown a Hail Mary. So they had a chance to win. That's where I'm glad he went and scored. I was glad he didn't fumble. I was most worried about fumbling it and giving it right back to him was what I was most worried about. The score, I felt like we'd definitely still win the game, but we were going to have to play some more. We're going to have to do some onside kicks. We're going to do some things like that. But thank goodness he scored and didn't fumble.
So let me ask you something different
Yes, sir.
then. The ceremony for Rashawn was really
Yes.
nice. And it seems to me one way you honor Rashawn is if you have Philip Lindsay playing football the way he did as a running back. Talk a little bit about his performance.
Yeah, it was great to have the honoring of Rashawn. It was great to have a lot. I saw a ton of those players last night. A couple of them looked like they could still play. They were some dudes, and so it was good. It was good seeing Coach Mack out there and everybody. But Phillip, I just can't say enough about Phillip. Sounds like I got a man crush, and he's just awesome, and he gives everything, his whole heart and soul. He's an all-purpose leader in the history of the school, which is amazing. All the great players and running backs they've had here, he's the only back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher ever. That's mind-boggling to me with all the great players, he's just special. He'll be special the rest of his life and what he does, and he's one of those people, and you're around him every once in a while. They don't care about peer pressure. They do what they believe is right. They give all they have. They care about others. They're unselfish, and they motivate by their actions and by their words. Very, very rarely do you have every quality almost in a guy. And number one, I give credit to the way his parents raised him, and I give credit to his knee injury. I think made all the difference in the world to him. Because when you go into your senior year in high school and you're the leading rusher in the state of Colorado, in the city, and you're going to break the state rushing record, and you tear your knee up your senior year, we all know how special your senior year is. And he doesn't get to play, and then his whole freshman year he has to had extra surgery on it. Then he has to come back. He has to keep fighting. He never took it for granted. I think that even gave him an extra understanding of, hey, this could be taken away from me. Every time I get to play, I'm going to give everything I got. So he had all those qualities. I think this just made him, he kind of doubled down, super blitz, super whatever. He's a amazing young man. I guess I talked too much about him, but I could talk all night about Phillip Lindsay.
From the defensive line perspective, it seemed like today you guys really, last week, also today, you were really able to get some pressure on Bowers. How did you feel? How do you feel that unit is progressing? It seems like Jacob Callier and Derek McCartney are really starting to do some nice things.
They're getting better and better at it. Jacob has that knack of being able to rush. Derek's really good. Jacob has a quick first step. Jacob has the ability to bend. That's what we loved about him when we watched him at Bosco in high school. We thought he could be an excellent pass rusher, and I just think he's going to get better and better and better. Hasselback went down. He was a good guy. We liked the pass rush. So Michael Matthews came in. He played some last week. He came in this week. Michael Matthews is a phenomenal young man that's just paid his dues, gotten better and better and better. Never said boo, just worked hard, and I was pleased with that. And Jace Frankie had some good pass rush inside. So did Leo. And then of course number 20, he flashes every once in a while in there for sure.
Mike, since you mentioned it, Taryn, do you know what his injury was?
Concussion.
Okay.
So we won't know the state of it, but he had a concussion.
And then following a different type of question, another guy that struggled last week was Tim Lynott with his snaps. I know probably it being dry helped, but
definitely.
But we didn't notice really him today because he was snapping.
He did an excellent job today. We had the one fumble on the short yardage, but I haven't figured out what that was. That was a big play for us to go there for that much, and we fumble it. But what was really neat was how our defense rose to the challenge right there on that and got it back. But Timmy's doing good. Timmy's a really good player, and I thought he played well today. I really did. Pleased with Timmy.
Going back to Steven Montez, he did really look like he improved as far as just his pocket awareness and just his ability to climb through the pocket, step up into the pocket, and step into his throws.
Yes. You're
would
correct.
you
good
give
observation? That's what we've been trying to get him to do more often.
Well, he just had good depth on his drops, and he just was climbing up into the pocket to make sure he could throw to his receivers and just kind of go through his progressions. And he just looked more comfortable.
Yes.
He had that bounce in his step. He knew where he was going with the ball. Would you give all that credit to the passing skeleton because maybe you had some other things?
No, I won't give it all the pass. I think that helped him, but I think what helped him too is our offensive line inside. Mm-hmm. They didn't let it dent him as much, if that makes sense.
So you mean getting pushed back into him?
So he was able to sit in there and step up. So I give a lot of credit to the offensive line there, but I also give a lot of credit to him sitting in there and stepping to the side. Right. And Brian Lindgren and them, we work those drills all the time. all the time, and it just had to break. He's breaking some old habits. I mean,
Yeah. Because
like
what he
I
was
said-
doing was like he would get the ball and then he would turn to his right and then
Yeah.
roll out
Yeah.
immediately if
Right.
he felt pressure, he would kind of
Right.
panic. And so now I've just noticed he's sitting there.
Yeah,
And
that's a
and-
progression
yeah.
he's making, and he's got to do that. There'll be some times he can roll out because
Right.
he's going to need to do that some, but he's going to be able to sit in there more and more often, and he's learning how to do that, which is good.
Right. Thank you.
Coach, you've got 3 challenging games left. Obviously, it's 1 week at a time, but these are the gold games. What do you expect from your team moving forward?
I expect us to enjoy this tonight and get ready to try to find a way to beat Arizona State, and then we'll go from there. And I sure hope we can.
Is it safe to assume we know what you're going to be watching on TV tonight?
Yeah, I'll be watching a little bit of that for sure, but I'll watch it a million times on film. So we got tons of family at our house this weekend, so that's exciting too.
QB competition this week, or is that settled?
No, Steven will be the starter this week, but we're still going to give Sam a ton of reps. As you saw today, I thought he got knocked out, and Sam's got to be ready to go. So we'll. I was messing with. I knew Steven was going to be out. Right went to him when I said to him, and I said, I was teasing him a little bit, and he started smiling and laughing. I said, okay, he's going to be all right. So that was good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.